Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I have a bunch of meditation books with me right here, ready to be read. So let's get into it. Let's see which one. I pulled this one first. So let's see what the Daily Book of Positive Quotations has to say to us today. January 25th. Let's hope it's good. I haven't looked at any of these, so I don't know what any of them say. Oh, this is a good one. January 25th, kindness. 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. The third is to be kind. Henry James. Doctors pledge to, first, do no harm. We can go one step further. First, we will be kind. Let us approach every situation looking for ways to be kind to others. Even if our kindness isn't returned, we will be better for setting an example and living up to our principles. Today I will do at least one kind thing for someone else. I really like this meditation. In my vlog, I have been reminded by Troy that in the past I used to say, practice random acts of kindness. I would say it every day at the end of my vlog. So I've tried to start attempting to say that again. I don't think I did actually today. I have tried to attempt saying that again at the end of each of my vlogs because it's something that I really believe in. I really believe in the art of practicing random acts of kindness. And I think the thing is this, there's being of service to others, and then there's practicing random acts of kindness, or just being kind. And I think that one of the things that I have learned as a person that has been very selfish for much of my life is that, and also as an addict and alcoholic when our disease is rooted in selfishness and self-centeredness, is that, many of us go through the entire day only thinking of ourselves. Well, I can only speak for myself. I have gone through much of my life only thinking about myself in response to the world. How am I affected by this? If I do this, or if I'm of service to somebody else, how will that affect my day? How will that affect my life? When you start practicing on a regular basis random acts of kindness, or looking for opportunities that just come up during the day for you to practice those random acts of kindness. And let me tell you that when you start looking for them, they will show up all the time. They will show up all over the place. But when you start practicing them and when you start looking for them, it becomes kind of second nature to just do random things. For example, let me give you an example of something that, and this is not a pat my back moment because this is no big act of kindness, right? But this is just something that I try to do. When I am going through a parking lot, there's nothing that stops me from having the ability to walk the extra 5 or 10 parking spots to the door of someplace, right? I'm not somebody that needs to park super close. I can walk. In fact, it'll probably help me in the long run. So when I'm going down a lane and 2 people are coming for the same spot, or if I see somebody turn and there's a close spot and that was the spot that I was going for, I typically try to give that spot to somebody else. And then, go down and find another parking space. Sometimes I even just park far out and let other people have the closer parking spaces because it's just not a fight that I want to have, number one. Number two, I think people get real excited when they find a close parking space. And 3, there are people that need it much more than I do. So it's just something that is so simple and so small. And that's just like one small example of something that you can do. Letting people go in traffic. And, sometimes maybe not just letting 1 car go, but letting 2 and 3 cars go. It's like, okay, I'll let 1 car go, but 2 or 3, no. Like, I let 1 car go. I'm a good person, So it's just kind of like getting into the practice of it. And, and then also relaxing in that situation. Have you ever been in a situation where the person in front of you is a kind person and they let somebody go and you're like, oh, that was nice. And then they let another person go. And as soon as that second car, you're like, how many people are you going to let through? Like, come on, we've got places to go. But it's just like, just slow down. Life is not meant to be rushed and all of that. And so I think it's about really thinking about others, and really thinking about the other person and what will make their life easier, whether that's your partner or your kids or your mother, father, neighbors, whatever, you know. I shared this story in here not too long ago, and I thought it was such a cute story. My neighbor across the street, he's so nice, and he's like, you know, we don't have a lot of trash because we always do have tons of trash, and he's like, if you want to put some of your trash in our trash can, feel free to do that. And I never did, because I always just thought it was weird, or like I was a burden to walk across the street and put trash in his trash can. So one day, we had like trash that was like overflowing out of our trash can, right? And I left, I think to go vlog or something, but I came home, and when I came home, it was like very early in the morning, and our trash can was closed where it wouldn't close before, and because it has like, you know, one of those tops on it, and it wouldn't close before. And I was like, did he take the trash out of our trash can and put it in his trash can? And so I walked across the street and like opened his and looked, and sure enough, our trash was in there. And I thought, what a nice thing, you know, that he didn't have to do that he just walked across the street and took our trash and put it in there so that our trash wouldn't blow into the yard, you know, and I'd have to go pick it up all over the place. So, because he's seen me do that. And I just was like, you know, what a genuinely nice thing to do, you know. If our neighbors are out of town, you know, and they know that we have a one-car garage, they're very nice about, because I always have to park in the garage. Or, I mean, I always have to park on the street and then move when Alex gets up in the morning so that he can go to work. They're like, oh, we're going to be gone for a week. You can park in our driveway or even use our garage if you want. You know, people are just so nice. And I just think those are those small, I think, random acts of kindness that really change somebody's day. The other thing that I learned years ago was that, and I learned it from a friend of mine that was a hairstylist. And I don't remember the exact story, but she was telling me that, you know, like at the place that she worked, if like somebody was like 10 or 15 minutes late, they would get very upset and be like, we're going to have to rebook you. Well, she was like at the end of her day, and the person came in. They were like 15 or 20 minutes late, and she knew she shouldn't take them, but she took them anyway. And she was like, if they get upset with me, they get the people that like the managers, if they get upset with me, they get upset with me, but I'm going to, you know, do this anyway. And so she took this client, and the woman started like crying like halfway through, and she said, you know, like something like her mom or her dad, I think it was her dad, had passed away, and she said, and this is the only chance that I'm going to have in the next week before the funeral to take care of myself and my hair, and this has just been really nice for me to be able to sit here, you know, for an hour and just get my hair done, and thank you, because now I'll feel like I at least look nice when I, you know, go to this funeral and am taking care of all this stuff. And she said, you know, you never know where somebody is at when you meet them throughout their day. Like when you see somebody, you know, at the grocery store or wherever you're at, you never know what that person has gone through in a day. And, you know, even when your partner walks through the door at the end of the day, you don't really know like everything that's happened throughout their day. And so to kind of like meet them with some grace and kindness, I think is just, I don't know. And I'm not a perfect example of that. I wish I was. I wish I was just this overwhelmingly kind person 24 hours a day. But, you know, sometimes I'm still very selfish. And I, you know, I'm like, okay, well, where am I in this? What do I get out of this? But it's, I think, about being conscious of it so that we work to not be that way, if that makes sense. So great meditation as a reminder, I think, to continue to work on being kinder individuals. It's funny because if you had asked me 25 years ago, what are words that when you're entering your 50th year that you want to, you know, that you want to have be in your daily vocabulary of describing yourself? And I would have said successful, wealthy, stable, in a healthy relationship, you know, sexy, hot, cute. You know, I mean, those were the words that would matter to me. And, you know, today the words that matter to me are, well, being in a healthy marriage, obviously, but peaceful, serene, kind, continuing to learn on a daily basis, being open to learning, growing, and, you know, thoughtful, I think, aware. Those are the words that are important to me today. So I think it changes sometimes over your life and what becomes more important to you and what your priorities are. So that was a great meditation. All right, let's read one more. I've been stopping at just one meditation lately, but I feel like reading another one. So let's read from The Meditations for Living in Balance. I really like this book. Okay. January 25th, Congruence. This will be interesting to see what this has to say. Actions speak louder than words. Proverb. How hollow our words are when they are not supported by our actions. Children learn at a very young age that they are safer when they respond to what their parents do rather than to what they say if the two messages differ. For example, when someone says that she is quite open and wants to learn from us, and then she interrupts and refuses to listen to anything we say, the message we get is that of her actions, not of her words. When we say that we will follow through on our share of the housework and then don't, our partners and roommates quickly learn that they can't trust us. Many people will promise anything in the glow of the moment and do nothing in the heat of the day. Oh, I like that quote. When we behave this way, the other person or persons is not the greatest loser. We are. When our actions do not fit our words, not only do we set off a negative chain reaction outside ourselves, we set off a negative chain reaction within ourselves. We learn not to trust ourselves, and we feel an unbalancing process within ourselves that leads to low self-esteem and uneasiness. We cannot be dishonest with others without being dishonest to ourselves. Set up a plan with yourself to check out the congruence or incongruence between your actions and your words, and then clean up this part of your life. Wow. I think talk is cheap. I think my talk has been cheap at many times of my life, and I think this is a really valuable meditation, to ask yourself, are the things I'm saying matching my actions, Because, one of the questions I ask myself is, when I sit on video, I really do think about this. When I sit on video on my Peterisms and I talk about this stuff, once the camera is off and I am interacting with, not you guys, but with my husband or my best friend, who am I in that moment? One of the things that my best friend always says, and I love that when she says this, is that she'll say, if you want to know who I really am, ask my husband, ask my best friend, ask my employees, ask the person at the bank that I saw today. That's who will tell you who I really am, because those are the people that are directly affected by my behaviors, my actions on a daily basis. I think it's so true, And it's like, do your actions or meet what you say, or do you constantly find yourself saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, When I was growing up, I said I'm sorry a lot, and my dad hated it, which got him to the point where he would say to me, I don't want to hear you say I'm sorry anymore, because sorry just means forget what I just did. There's you don't mean anything by it, which is why today in recovery, the amends process to me means so much. Taking responsibility for my actions of the past, having really done inventory before I do that on what those actions were, so I fully understand what I did, taking responsibility for it and saying it's not going to happen again, and I'm going to show you that I'm a changed person by my behaviors going forward. And it means also that if you're an imperfect person, because we all are, and you make a mistake again, you make amends for it, and you say, hey, listen, I screwed up again, and I need to be honest with you about that. But just to flippantly say, I'm sorry, and just let's move on, it's really more about taking responsibility and letting your words match your actions, and I love that. So let me know what you think about those meditations in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.